Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
So not everybody has a break room. A lot of people are just starting on job sites. But some teams are going to have that shop. They're going to have some sort of break room. And I think this is a really great opportunity, is to have some sort of break room strategy of how to get people into the break room. Obviously there's things like coffee and donuts, but you can spread that out. You can do things like, hey, end of the month, we do lunch in the break room, right? And it brings everybody to there. You can have birthday celebrations. You can have end of project celebrations like we mentioned earlier. But how can they also do that in the field?
Yeah. I mean, that can be difficult, but it just has to be intentional. So making sure that you're picking the right point in the project when it makes sense, that everyone might be more centralized across the job site, making it so that it's safe for everyone, that you have a place. Maybe it's the job site trailer or something that you could do that for. But maybe it's bringing lunch in, catering in lunch, or, ordering mini sandwiches so that everyone can be there at one time. But I think when it comes down to it, it's being intentional, making sure that the leaders on those job sites know that they have a discretionary budget to be able to say, this is how often I can do this, and this is kind of what the main cost is, or they have support and another part of the organization that's going to handle that for them. But that it's part of the way projects are done. Just like you said about putting that project celebration on the checklist for each project, it's about putting those break room or pseudo break rooms in the job site as part of that cadence.
Yeah, it could be a great checklist item to have in a tool to equip your managers and crew leads. Hey, every project you do, you've got to have coffee and donuts at least twice at the job site. And you've got to have lunch at least once throughout the life cycle of the project. And here's your budget. And that's something that they've got to make sure they do. It's on their checklist, right? I think that's a great way to do it. And getting it, those large gatherings are probably a little bit easier to get everybody together, but having that central location, if you can do it, allows for the water cooler talk, if you will, or the interactions that wouldn't normally happen because, hey guys, come by the break room. We made cookies. Whenever you get a chance to come by and grab a cookie, they're really delicious. My wife made them. You'll enjoy them, whatever it is, right? Those are great ways to do it.
Absolutely. And I think those are the little interactions that lead to retention. You're able to key into those individuals that might be distancing themselves some. It's a great way to get everyone together just to share. Oh, I just learned this. We talked about knowledge sharing being one of those really impactful hidden costs of employees leaving. So putting those situations together so that people gather and, like you said, water cooler talk is when a lot of that sharing can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so last one we've got here for retention strategies. Again, overhead expense, but much better to do it up front rather than having to deal with the other overhead expenses that are much more costly. So tool or apparel allowance. So essentially you can have different milestones for different employees, and based upon the milestone, 6 months or 2 years or whatever it is, you can have different allowances or different awards, whatever you want to call it. So this can be, a new tool that they can use on the job site. Maybe it's a new piece of equipment, a better hand tool that they need, maybe tool belt. But then it can also be PPE. It could be branded apparel like a jacket for the cold weather in the winter. It could be, new shirts that are branded. It can be even something that isn't necessarily related to the job site apparel wise, but it's got your company branding on it. So that gives them, if they're wearing that in their personal life, it's kind of an identity piece. Yeah, I work for this company, right? Gives a bigger connection to your brand.
Absolutely. And I think from a retention standpoint, it's quick and easy to do. It does take some time and, getting the items all put together. But advertising within your employee base, this is part of a perk. We have this tool and apparel allowance. That is a retention tool somebody that may be very new in their career with you saying, oh, I've got to make it to that milestone so that I can participate in the tool and apparel allowance. It's kind of reminds me of the old school catalog corporate would get, and say you have so many points picked from this catalog. But what I love about it is it helps for brand identity. It helps for employee pride and wearing something branded for their company. But it also helps. And these are some of those added benefits that help me differentiate from maybe the contractor next door that I might be considered going to. But this is really something that I enjoy because I know I'm going to get that new tool coming up with my allowance.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a really easy one. It doesn't have to be that hard. Go find a print shop, tell them, hey, I need a bunch of hats, and then I need 4 jackets with, embroidered. And then the 4 employees that are most tenured, you give those jackets, you give hats to everybody. Hey, Jesse over here is scheduled to get his jacket in 2 months. Everybody who hits the 1-year mark is going to get a jacket, right? That's kind of what happens around here. So it can be a point of pride for these people to have that, to be able to earn that jacket, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe, and don't have to tie it to tenure. You can tie it to performance metrics if you want, right? If it's a certain amount of days without an accident or whatever you determine the metric is, that can be the trigger to order that new jacket or piece of equipment or whatever it is. So
absolutely.
I'm going to run through really.
Oh, please. I was just going to say, then you say you're at an industry event or something else, and someone's like, hey, I really like that vest you have on. Yeah, we got this when we completed that big project, or I got this at my, 1-year anniversary, or I got this because I was recognized as one of the top performers. It's something that is a conversation piece as well.
Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you, so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, it might be there, it might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.